I've graduated my marine training back in 2002. Then I started my sea career working on different DP vessels. These kind of vessels that we simulate here in the DP simulator. I finished my DP training back in 2008 when I got my full DP license, and I joined different DP vessels since. Part of the DP vessels that I used to work are supply boats, anchor handlers, oil rigs, floatels, ROV boats, different specialized vessels used for oil and gas industry. My experience consists of 12 years at sea, and for the last 9 years actually, I have been involved in DP training as a DP trainer, accredited by the Nautical Institute in London, the only institution which is accredited to issue licenses for DP officers. Yeah, it's a very good question, and obviously the attractiveness of this industry, this job, is related to first of all the financial aspect, and second of all the rotation of the trips on board these kind of vessels. If on a normal deep sea going vessel, an officer of the watch or an officer of the engine watch would spend 4 to 6 months on board for each trip. On this kind of vessels, we normally spend weeks, 2, 4, 6 weeks on board with equal time at home. This makes the job very attractive because it gives you enough time to spend back home with your family, and also it gives you good time on board, which gives you a good financial stability. Obviously, everybody going at sea is interested in the salaries, the wage that he gets. Offshore business is a bit more rewarding than the normal deep sea going vessels business. It's an industry which offers you a lot of situations where you have to develop your skills. You have to apply all the knowledge that you have gained throughout the years of study, and also here this DP course, which offers the guys coming here a lot of simulations, exercises to prepare them for the real-time operation. So I would say the guys joining offshore vessels or oil rigs will develop a bit more in terms of technical knowledges. We're using highly advanced, technologically advanced computers on board these vessels, so it's a bit more, let's say, for the future. We call it the future of the shipping, because this may turn into a vessel without crew at some point. We can operate the vessel by the use of an operator remotely. He's not on board. So this is the future probably of the navigation. This is let's say the direction where we're heading for the time being.
Push you to the future more in the ground that you don't know.
Exactly, yeah. So for the guys joining this industry, this let's say oil and gas industry, or not only oil and gas, also the renewable, the wind farming, they will have the ability to develop a bit more and rapidly, because they deal with the newest technology on board the vessels. I find it challenging in all aspects. The type of the work, the relationships on board the vessel, the people that are on your colleagues on board, they're all eager to learn and let's say passionate about doing that. And spending less time on board, everything happens very quick. So I would say a lot of experience in a shorter time. You are not getting into a so-called routine as we have on other deep-sea going vessels, where you spend time for months on the same vessel. So I would say the most challenging aspect is traveling all over the world. You may be on board a vessel in the Gulf of Mexico, and next month you may be transferred to another vessel in the Persian Gulf, and then move to West Africa. So it's a very challenging industry. You get to work in different places. You get to know different nationalities. I have one story that I always tell my DP officers. I used to be on a drilling vessel going out from the shipyard in South Korea, and we were on board the vessel at one time 24 different nationalities, 160, 170 people, 24 different nationalities. So I would say this is the most challenging part, dealing with different nationalities, with different cultures, and speaking the same language, the maritime language. Yeah, the biggest problem and challenge, as I mentioned, is communication. So I find communication in same important as the technical and the maritime skills that you have. So being on these kind of vessels with different nationalities may mean a communicational problem. So people that come for this kind of job, they need to have good communicational skills. Maritime and English language is always very important, and also the willingness to learn. They need to adapt in a very short period of the time. Once you get on board, you need to adapt very quick. You need a couple of days to get to know the vessel, 1-2 days to get to know the crew, and then to start working. There's no time for accommodating and familiarizing for newcomers on board. They need to get to work almost instantly. Yeah, I would like to tell them to invest in their training, to try to learn as much as possible from the school, whatever school they are attending, they're graduating, and never treat things without seriousness, without putting a lot of work into it. So what I can tell them is to try to get maximum as much as possible from their training, their learning process, so that they can use it when they come on board a vessel for their career. This is very important. The more theoretical knowledge you have, the better for you to apply it on board as a practical skill.